What's going on, guys? I hope y'all are having a good day. Welcome to my story time number 2. This is about when I got lost in the woods. Yeah. Uh, this person that invited me to his house we're gonna call him Jesse, right? So he invites me to his house, and it's out in the country, which is cool. I've never been there to his house. I've never really been to a house in the country at that time. I was in middle school, so I'd say my experiences were pretty, I didn't have many experiences. I just been around my family and just been around my house, not in my area. I've never really been somewhere like that. So he invites me over, and I'm like, yeah, for sure. So my mom takes me over there. It's about a 40-minute drive. To me, it feels like 2 hours, because usually when I go to my friend's house, I can either walk there, I can skateboard there, or the drive will be literally 2 minutes. So to me, it was a little bit different, but it was cool. I mean, it was different because I never really, like I said, been anywhere like that. So first is a first. But yeah, so I was on my way there. We got there, and I see that there's like a house, and then there's like half a mile, and then there's another house. So it's very spread out, you know what I mean? It's not like a regular neighborhood. So I go into his house. Some of my other friends are there. 2 of my other friends, James and Kevin. So James and Kevin, they were like, hey, what's up, man? How's it going? This and this and that. And we're having a good time, you know what I mean? We're getting a little stoned here and there, just playing some games, just doing some middle school stuff, you know what I mean? Nothing too crazy. And it gets to be around, I'd say 9, maybe 9:30. And my friends have this bright idea, because they've always been the smartest, to go into the woods, right? Like a little bit later in the night, maybe around, I think they said 11 or 12. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, fuck no. You know what I mean? Nah. Like, I'm not trying to go in the woods. You got me screwed up, bro. But, the majority were voting yes, and the minority were voting no. I was like left out of that. So, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna stay at that house by myself either, because I don't know his parents. I don't know nothing like that. So I'm just gonna follow my friends. So we waited until we knew his parents were asleep, and we were gonna sneak out. And I was walking out the door to head to his stairs so we can go down the stairs and outside, you know what I mean? Like any human would think. But no, he's like, oh no, you can't go down the stairs. I'm like, why can't I not go down the stairs? They're right there and I have feet. And he's like, oh, it's because they're creaky as shit. He's like, if you go down those stairs right now, you're about to wake everybody up. Not just the parents, the dogs, everybody. So I'm like, well, then how are we going to get out of here? And then, okay, so he shows me this secret door. Like, I didn't know this existed or anything like that. I thought it was his restroom, right? So if you walk out of my friend's room and then you head to the right, there's a little hallway. It's not that long, but there's a little hallway, and it leads to this other door. And if you open that door, there's literally nothing there. It's just a drop off. If you open it and walk out, you're falling to the floor, on the dirt, on the first floor. Like, it's crazy. I don't understand why they have it there. Maybe they like to trick people like that have never been to their house to go through that door and fall. But maybe they're adding to the house. I don't know. But it was just the weirdest thing. I've never seen that in my life, and I still have never seen that till this day. So he's like, he told us just to sit down, and then we could just scoot our butts off. You know what I mean? And it'll lessen the impact or whatever of jumping off, so we won't have to just jump out. So we get to scooting our dumb butts off the second story, and when I land, I get the sharpest, nastiest pain in both of my legs, because I've never fallen from the second story, you know what I mean? So that was uncomfortable and that hurt. But we got past that. That was pretty dumb, though. Like, I just don't get that. If you're going to have a door right there, why don't you just build more stairs? What are you doing? Like, I don't know, but they're tripping. Anyway, so we get out of the house successfully. Parents still asleep. Dogs still asleep. And we head into the woods like some dumbasses. So Well, we get to walking. There's four of us, like I said. Me, Jesse, James, and Kevin. So me and Jesse were closer together, like physically wise, while we were walking. And James and Kevin stuck together a little bit more while we were walking. And we heard some noises around us, like I would say some snapping branches or like some rustling or something. And we got to looking around. We got to doing this and that. And I can't tell you for the life of me how this happened. I cannot. I just don't get it. Because we were like in the same proximity to each other, but somehow we got separated. So into two groups where it was me and Jesse together, and then James and Kevin together. I guess they were with each other over there. I don't know where, but in the woods somewhere. And I don't know how we got separated if we were literally right next to each other. I don't know if maybe till this day, I don't know if they're maybe playing a joke on me or something, but they seem to be just as scared as me. So we get separated into two groups. And when we realize it, I told Jesse, I'm like, hey, where's the guys? You know what I mean? Like, and he's like, oh, I don't know. We were just right by him. And so I'm like, bro, we're lost in the woods. And he's like, no, we're not lost. He's like, my house is right back this way. So I'm like, all right, bet, let's start heading that way, right? So we start heading to where we think his house is, right? And then, nothing's really happening at that point. Yeah, we're separated. I'm freaking out because why are we separated? I just don't understand that. So we're walking or whatever. Give it 5 minutes. Tell me why we hear a branch talking about some... Bro, my soul... I saw my soul. It came out my body. It slapped the shit out of me. And it asked me, what are you doing, bro? Like, do I need to slap you more? Must you get more slaps? And I was like, no, I'm good. I understand where you're coming from. You know what I mean? I'm having this conversation with my soul. So we hear this branch snap. And honestly, we just get to running. Because I'm not trying to find out none of that. But while we're running, we hear stuff behind us too. Like as if something's following us, like running after us. And I'm thinking, what if it's our friends, So I yell out their names. I'm like, hey, Jesse, James and Kevin. I'm yelling out, James, Kevin, where y'all at? Or is that y'all? No response. So that is obviously not our friends. Because if that was our friends, I'm pretty sure they would have been like, yeah, that's us. Because they were scared too. They didn't want to go in them woods. But it was all just for thrills and chills. You know what I mean? Just stupid reasons. But I'm pretty sure that they would have called back, but no, nothing called back. All we heard was just stuff still moving towards us, right? So we get to running even faster. I'm talking more than Hussein. I'm talking, I turned to the Flash. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a speedster now. You know what I mean? I'm going. So we keep running and running and running to where we think where he said his house was. You would think he would know, right? But no. We get to, we bust out of the woods, so we finally reach the tree line, right? And we go, and where we end up is not where he said we would be. It was like some empty old street, long road, empty, long road, dark, no lights, nothing. Well, actually, yeah, there was one light, but other than that, no lights for miles. Like, there was only one light post. And for some reason, even that light post looked sus. Even that light post looked like it was trying to get us. So I was not trusting anything. And when we break out the street, he's like, oh, I know where we're at. So I'm like, all right, bet. You know where we're at? He's like, yeah, my house is just this way or whatever. I guess he recognizes the house. The house is around us. So I'm like, all right, cool. So then we decide to just, take a break from running our asses off and just walk for a little bit. And we're walking. But I'm still hearing stuff behind us, like in the woods though, like not on the street anymore, just in the woods, like as if maybe something were to be following us along the tree line, because we're not in the woods, but we're like across the street, right next to the woods. We tried to just get away from the woods as much as we can, and I'm hearing those noises still, like snapping branches, rustling in the trees, or in this and that. And I'm asking him, are there any type of animals out here? Are there any type of this and that? He's like, from what I know, I've never seen anything. And that makes me so worried, because I'm like, bro, if you got Leatherface in there, or if you got Slender Man in there, you just tell me. Like, if we're about to just meet our doom, why don't you just tell me? But he gets to saying that he doesn't know what's going on. He's never really heard noises like that and this and that, right? So we're walking, and then I don't know what made me do this, but I just had the instinct to just say, I'm going to turn around and look back for a minute. I turned around and looked back, and till this day, I don't know if what I saw is what I saw, or if I was imagining things because I was already so scared and I had already shat my pants. I don't know. It could be a mix of everything. I don't know. But from what my eyes were comprehending at the time and my brain was processing, I thought I had seen a person, like, in the woods, like a shadowy figure type thing, you know? Like, standing next to one of the trees, sort of like kind of out of the tree line, almost towards the street. And when I look and I see it, in my brain, I could have sworn like it noticed me looking or something like that, and then it just like darted back into the woods, or like behind the tree or whatever. And when I saw that, I grabbed my friend by his face and I said, let's go. You know what I mean? We're out. We're running. You know what I mean? I'm not even running anymore. My feet are turned into the Batmobile, and I'm just fucking floating on some wheels on that my feet are pretending to be. So we're darting back. I'm hitting the boost, you know what I mean? I'm hitting every single type of boost I got. Boop, 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 you know what I mean? Type stuff. And then we finally get back to his house. It took us like, god dang, like 15 minutes of walking and running to get back to his house. Because, of course, we had to go in the woods when we're all the way out in Kabamfuck, Egypt, right? So we get back to his house, we get a ladder, we put it against that doorway, we climb up the ladder, and we're back in the room. And there's no sign of our other friends. We didn't even think about that until we're already back in the room, right? So we're already back in the room. About, I'd say 30 minutes passes by, still nothing. Still haven't heard anything from our friends. Oh, and by the way, we all left our phones there. Yeah, we're all stupid. But anyway, yeah, we left our phones there, so we can't call them, we can't text them and ask them, are you okay, or where are you at? And my friend is like trying to be old Mr. Courageous dude or something like that, talking about maybe we should go look for him. And I said, yeah, maybe you should go look for him. I'm gonna stay right here. I'm good. I'm in the house, you know what I mean? I'm chilling. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, you're my friend. They're my friends and everything, but I don't even know if they're alive anymore, bro. And I'm not trying to join nobody, you know what I mean? If they make it back, all hail them, you know what I mean? All praises to them. God bless them. But he's talking about going and looking for them. I say no, and he's like, all right, we'll wait about another 30 minutes. So at that point, we're going to wait an hour to see if they show up. So I'm like, all right, bet. We'll wait 30 more minutes. If they don't show up, I'll walk around the outside of the house and look around, but I'm not going to go into the woods again. And he's like, all right, fine. We'll just walk around the street a little bit and see if we can see anybody. So I was like, all right, fair enough. So that hour passes by. So, yeah, that hour passes by. And we're trying to look outside, see if we see anything. We open that death door that he has at the end of the hallway to see if anybody's outside or anything. But, yeah, we're not seeing nothing. And so we just decide to stay in his room because, you know, at that point, we've gotten a little bit more sane. We're not so stupid at that point. And another hour goes by. So at that point, 2 hours have gone by. You know what I mean? Where my friends have not shown up. Nothing's going on. It's just me and my one friend, the one that invited me there, in his room just chilling, waiting to see if they ever show up. So after 2.5 hours, right, we hear like a clank against the doorway where we had to climb up, back up the door. And we look out of my friend's window and we see my friends coming up, and they're knocking on the door because we closed it and locked it. I mean, that may sound kind of messed up, but you know what I mean, safety first. So they're knocking on the door a little bit, like, not too hard, because we're not trying to wake up his parents either, have them know what we did, because then they're gonna be all mad and all that. So they're knocking on the door. They're like, hey, let us in, hey, we're out here, come on, man. So then we let them in, and we're like, where were you guys? It's been like 2.5 hours. What are y'all doing? And they're like, we've just been running around the woods. We couldn't find a way out. I'm like, oh man, y'all been in the woods for 2.5 hours? Oh man, my skeleton would have already bust out my mouth and ran away. That would have been two separate beings. You know what I mean? Like, I would not last that long. I would have already passed away. I'm telling you that I would have been dead. Y'all would have been, having to have a funeral for me. But they said that they were running around. They heard noises like we did. They were saying that they even thought they saw somebody, just like I did. So I'm thinking, was there somebody in the woods that day or that night? You know what I mean? Was there somebody there? And if there was it a person? Was it I believe in ghosts. I don't know if anybody does that's watching this or not, but I'm a true believer in ghosts. You will see why, because I have some more stories to tell about that. I have a whole, ghost story, chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4 coming that I'm planning on making, because it's a long story. It's not just one story. It's like a whole, year's worth of stories. So I got that coming. But yeah, so I don't know what it was that we saw in this and that, but they were saying that they saw all what they thought to be a person, that they heard noises behind them, that it got very close, and that they finally found a way out. And one of my other friends has already been to my friend Jesse's house a few times, so he knows the area a little more than any of the other of us. So he knew how to get back to the house. So yeah, we told them that we saw the same thing. I told them how stupid we all were for doing that, and they agreed. They were like, we're never gonna do that again. You know what I mean? So we couldn't really sleep that night, because all of us were pretty shook. Like, all of us didn't know what was going on. All of us didn't know what we had experienced. You know what I mean? So we took turns keeping watch, because we just couldn't sleep. Like, we were thinking, like, did somebody follow us home or something? Like, that's really creepy. That's really weird. So we took turns. I think we took turns for like an hour or an hour and a half each, keeping watch outside the window and outside the door. And thankfully, thank God, nobody saw anything. Nobody reported seeing anything, because if you saw something, you were told to wake everybody up so everybody could go and see what it was, or try and take a picture or something like that. But I'd rather have it this way. Nothing showed up. We didn't see anything. All is well. So we slept the rest of the night. We still took turns keeping watch all night, though, until about 9 to 10 in the morning, when his parents woke up. They made us breakfast, and they were like, why are y'all acting so weird? And we did not tell them anything. We did not say anything that happened. Just left it at that. And honestly, I don't even think we ever talked about it again, because it was just so terrifying. But yeah, I mean, that was the time that I got lost in the woods with my friends. It was pretty crazy. But yeah, this is story time number 2. Plenty more to come. Like and subscribe if you liked it. And yeah, appreciate y'all.